Ladies and gentlemen, and all of the respected guests, before we start our event, together we shall watch a performance by the Stregthening Dance Student Activity Unit from the Health Polytechnic of Yogyakarta under the guidance of Dr. Iswanto SPD MGes, entitled The Cakra Ancala Dance. This is traditional dance was composed by Nurulita Wahyu Widyaning Tias.
The Cakra Ancala dance chronicles the lives of the people around Mount Merapi, which is located in the special region of Yogyakarta. This story is composed into a dance work that is strong, dignified, gentle, and rhythmically boisterous. Inspired by the beauty of Mount Merapi and the people around the mountains who began to rise after the event full of struggle in 2010. This dance is a distinctive symbol to remember and respect the struggle and nobility of their predecessors.
In 2022, the particular dance won first place in the traditional dance competition organized by Jakarta State University, and on this occasion, it will be present once more by Nurlina Eka Pratiwi, student of the Bachelor of Applied Nursing and Profession Study Program, Nurulita Wahyu Widyaning Tias, student of Diplomatry Sanitation Study Program. This is Cakra Ancala Traditional Dance.
Recording in progress. Recording stopped.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya. Our distinguished speaker, Dr. Gigi Arianti Anaya, as Director General of Health Workforce of the Ministry of Health.
The head of the Center for Education and Training, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Muhammad K. Koba. The Director of Health Workforce Provision, Dr. Andus Oos Fatimah Rosyati. Professor Roderick L. Salinga from the World Health Organization in Indonesia.
The Head of Division of Fund Distribution Planning at Indonesia Aid, Mr. Yovan Rizaldi. The Deputy Director of International Development Cooperation, Mrs. Yomi Ayu Lestari. The Director of Health Polytechnic Yogyakarta, Dr. Iswanto SPD MKes.
The Director of Health Polytechnic Semarang, Mr. Jeffrey Ardianto, M. APP SJ. The Director of Health Polytechnic Surakarta, Mr. Sudiro SKP MPD. Last but not least, we would like to welcome all of the distinguished guests from foreign embassies in the Asia Pacific and African region, and also all of our beloved participants. Welcome to the public lecture held in collaboration between the Ministry of Health with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Health Polytechnic Yogyakarta,
with the topic, the importance of the role and capacity of health workers in strengthening health security in the Asia Pacific and Africa region.
First, let's express our gratitude for the presence of God Almighty, for all the grace and guidance, so that we can gather and carry out today's agenda in good condition. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin today's agenda, allow me, Rifki Pasha, and my partner,
Ranti Laugi,
to be your master of ceremony and read you today's agenda.
Today's agenda will be divided into several sessions. Our opening session will begin with a silent prayer.
Remarks from the head of the Center for Education and Training, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Muhammad K. Koba. A keynote speech from the Director General of Health Workforce, Dr. Gigi Arianti Anaya.
Following the keynote speech is the convenience of the token of appreciation from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to the Ministry of Health.
Our main session consists of a public lecture with the topic, The Importance of the Role and Capacity of Health Workers in Strengthening Health Security in the Asia Pacific and Asian Region, with Dr. Andus Oos Fatimah Rosyati, MKes, Professor Roderick L. Salenga, and Mr. Yovan Rizaldi as the speakers.
Then a short break session. Afterward, it is presentation and discussion of the international class of Health Polytechnic of the Ministry of Health with Mrs. Yomi Ayu Lestari, Mr. Jeffrey Ardianto MAPPSC, Mr. Sudiro SKP MPD, and Dr. Iswanto SPD MKes as the speakers, followed by discussion with representative of foreign embassies.
And our last session is the closing session from the Director of Health Polytechnic Yogyakarta, Dr. Iswanto, SPD MKes.
Ladies and gentlemen, entering the opening session, let us remain silent from a brief prayer. Amin. Coming up next are remarks from the head of the Center for Education and Training, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Muhammad K. Koba. To Ambassador Koba, the time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera dan salam sehat buat kita semua. Ibu Dirjen, para direktur, distinguished colleagues and participants. I'm delighted to be here today at the Health Polytechnic of Yogyakarta, one of the leading institutions for health education in Indonesia. And many thanks for hosting this event. We are here because of the three features they are crucial for our common future. The importance of higher education, the importance of health workers, and the importance of South-South cooperation. You might notice that I repeated the word importance 3 times. The reason is simple. We simply cannot afford to underestimate these features, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic that shook the world a while ago. We were caught off guard by the pandemic. We were not ready to face such a massive challenge. Most developing countries, if not all developing countries, were not aware of what a pandemic was, let alone how to deal with it. As a result, we suffer a lot of losses, both in terms of lives and livelihoods. We struggle to contain the virus, to treat the patients, to protect the vulnerable, and to support the recovery. And we cannot afford to repeat the same mistakes again. We are fully aware that the COVID-19 pandemic was not the first and may well not be the last pandemic in the world. It is highly likely there will be another pandemic in the future. We don't know when, we don't know where, and we don't know how it will happen, but we know that it will happen again. And we must be ready to face it. We need to anticipate it by preparing a better health system, a better health workforce, and better health policies. This is why we have arranged today's event by collaborating with the Ministry of Health, Indonesian Aid, and WHO. We want to learn more from each other, to share our experiences and best practices, and to explore the potential of health cooperation among developing countries. Ibu Dirjen, para direktur, distinguished colleagues and participants, during the public lecture, we will hear from distinguished speakers who will enlighten us on the current trends and challenges in the health system, the health workforce, and South-South cooperation. We will also have the opportunity to ask questions and exchange of views on these topics. And on the second session, we will go into concrete action. We will discuss the advanced program provided by 3 reputable health polytechnics in this country in Semarang, Surakarta, and Yogyakarta. We would like to hear how these 3 health polytechnics can become the forerunners for better health system in Asia, Africa, in Asia Pacific and Africa. We will also explore the possibility of establishing partnership among this institution and other stakeholders. Distinguished colleagues and participants, let us capitalize our potential and opportunities in higher education, the health workforce, and social cooperation for our better future. And I sincerely hope that this event will be fruitful and productive for all of us. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Ambassador Koba, for the wonderful remarks.
Next, next is the keynote speech from the Director General of Health Workforce, Dr. Kiki Arianti Anaya. Madam Anaya, the floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Your Excellency Bapak Muhammad Koba, Director for Training and Education, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Prof. Roderick Salenga, the Team Leader Health System Strengthening WHO Representative to Indonesia, Representative of the International Development Cooperation, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ms. Yomi Ayu, Director of Finance and General Affairs of the Indonesian AIDS Ministry of Finance, Bapak Yovan. Distinguished delegate from Cambodia, Laos, and also the Papua New Guinea. Colleagues from Indonesian Embassy in Kabul, Nairobi, Phnom Penh, Port Moresby, Suva, and Vientiane. Director of the Health Polytechnic Yogyakarta, Semarang, and Surakarta. Ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to all of you. First of all, I would like to deliver my thanks to Director Polytechnic Yogyakarta for having us here, and allow me to take this opportunity to extend also my warm welcome to all the guests and participants at the public lecture of the Health Polytechnic Yogyakarta. That is, the Yogyakarta is one of our best school, around 38 health polytechnic under the Ministry of Health of Republic Indonesia, especially for our special guests for overseas. Let you know that we have a 38 health polytechnic now in 34 provinces. I'm delighted to be here today to share the knowledge and expertise on the importance of the role and the capacity of the health workforce in strengthening health resilience in Asia Pacific and also the African region. As we know that after the COVID-19 pandemic remind us that the national health system must be more resilient and responsive for our future, especially to improve our health system. The Ministry of Health now developed, there are 6 priority then we build in the 6 transformation. First about the primary transformation, the primary health care, and then the second is about the secondary health care, third is about the resilience, and fourth about the budgeting, and also for the health workforce and the digitalization about the health system. With the primary care and also for the secondary care, we would like to improve the better system after the pandemic that we or country. Then critical number of the non-communicable disease such as the heart disease, stroke, and also cancer, which now extremely increasing and becoming a threat. Our priority have shifted from the previous being the handling of the pandemic, now returning to focus our improving the quality of the public health service. We want to focus again on the improving our quality of the health services with the strategic of the budget, also the revenue and expenditure policy reform. Ladies and gentlemen, if we are looking for the transformation, the 5th transformation is about the workforce, because the human resources of the health. Yeah, why we are concerned with the health resources of the health? Because now we have 3 big issue about the resources, the human resources for the health. First about the quantity, second about the distribution, and the third, the last is about the quality of the health worker. Through various efforts such as we do the many strategy like supplying health worker, providing a scholarship, empowering the health diaspora, and also deployment of the health professional abroad. I'm happy to share with you that Indonesia is considered to have the big capacity, and also the potential of the health workforce. Now Indonesia has approximately 1.6 million health workforce. Nurse has the most number with the 691,000 people. This is because there are 793 nursing study program in Indonesia now, with graduation policy, commitment to the contribute to the global health resiliency. I would like also to thanks to our college WHO for your support, helping us to reach our goal of the health polytechnic transformation to improve the quality of the health workforce education standard and continues the digital health training system. I am happy to see many output. From the beginning we start the program, From, I think, we initiate since 2021, One of them, I acknowledge that achievement of the health polytechnic who has improved their capacity lead to the development of the international class in order to increase the quality of our graduate students, especially our nurses that who want to go to the abroad. So we would like to achieve the standard, comply or fit with the international standard, and especially for their competence with their language. So then it can make more easier for them to go to going abroad and then work in many countries that need many nurses. Very timely that this year our health polytechnic run its international, make the opportunity for the international student. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very happy to welcoming the student from other region, making people-to-people social cultural engagement. I think that is the important thing. I'm looking forward to meet your health talent and bringing back their commitment to take most benefit from this program, improving to take most benefit from this program. And also in Solo, maybe they will be interested because that is the one of Jogja is one of the beautiful country that Indonesia have. Finally, with a blessing, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I hereby declare the public lecture, the importance of the role and the capacity of the health workforce in strengthening health resilience in Asia Pacific and African region officially open. I wish you all have a fruitful dialogue and discuss, as well as also that you can enjoy the beautiful Jogja. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Kiki Arianti Anaya, for the keynote speech. And Madam, please stay on the stage for the exchange of tokens of appreciation. Next, we would also like to invite Ambassador Koba for the conveyance of the token of appreciation and Dr. Iswanto to accompany Ambassador Koba.
We heard that Madam Anaya would also like to convey the token of appreciation to Ambassador Koba. Before we return to the seat, maybe we can take a picture together. I would like to invite the VIP guests and all of the speakers to come on the stage. Thank you, Madam Anaya, Ambassador Koba, VIP guests, and all of the speakers. You may return to your seat. Ladies and gentlemen, entering the main session, the public lecture, a presentation with the topic, the importance of the role and capacity of health workers in strengthening health security in Asia Pacific and African region, with Mr. Raka Pamungkas as the moderator. To Mr. Raka Pamungkas, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ranti and Pasha, for being our amazing Master of Ceremony. You may have seated. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to now proceed to our public lectures. We are talking about the importance of the role and capacity of health workers in strengthening health security in Asia Pacific and Africa. This is a very important topic that we consider very relevant and significant in our regions. We will identify together the challenges in our national health systems and our regional health corporations. After that, we will also explore all opportunities we need to boost in our regions regarding our collaborations in health security, especially by involving health workers in Indonesia and in these regions. So without further ado, I would like to invite our first speaker, Ibu Dr. Oos Fatimah Rosyati MKes, Director of the Health Workers Provisions at the Ministry of Health. Please, Ibu, please proceed to the seat, to the stage. Ibu Oos graduated from Bandung Institute of Technology, majoring in microbiology. She pursued her master's degree at the medical school at the Pajajaran University in Bandung. She used to be the head of Center for Training Human Resources at the Ministry of Health, and she was also once the secretary for the Council of Health Workers in Indonesia. Again, round of applause for Ibu Oos. Now, thank you very much. Now I would like to invite our second speaker, Professor Roderick L. Salenga. He is the Technical Officer for Essential Medicines and Acting Team Lead for Health Systems at WHO Indonesia Country Office. Please, Pak. Let me read his short bio. Before this assignment, he worked at the WHO Papua New Guinea and WHO Philippines to provide technical assistance to WHO Cambodia as well, where WHO Timor-Leste and WHO Western Pacific Regional Office in Manila. Prior to being in WHO in 2014, he was also a professor of public health pharmacy at the University of the Philippines in Manila, where he served as the chair of the Department of the Pharmacy. And our, last but not least, our third speaker, Mr. Jovan Rizaldi, that joined us virtually. Mr. Jovan, could you hear my voice?
Yes, I can hear you, Mr. Moderator. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Jovan Rizaldi is the head of Fund Planning Divisions at the Indonesian Agency for International Development. Mr. Rizaldi graduated from Mercu Buana University in Jakarta in accounting, and he also graduated from Nanyang Technological University, Singapore, taking Master of Science in International Political Economy. I would like to test one more time. Mr. Jovan, all right. Okay, Mr. Jovan, we are very pleased to see you in the Zoom. You'll be the third speaker after our first and second speaker, of course. Now, without further ado, I would like to invite Ibu Oos to convey her lectures. Ibu Oos, you would like to use the podium, or you would? All right, okay, thank you. Yes, please, Sir.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Ibu Arianti Anaya, Deputy Minister of Health Workforce, and Your Excellency Bapak Muhammad Koba, Director for Training and Education, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Foreign Affairs and representative of Finance and General Affairs of the Indonesian Ministry of Finance, and distinguished delegate of Cambodia, Laos, PDR, and Papua New Guinea, and colleagues from Indonesian Embassy in Kabul, Nairobi, Phnom Penh, Port Moresby, Suva, and Fenton, and Director for Health Polytechnic Yogyakarta, Surakarta, and Semarang, ladies and gentlemen. A very good morning to all of you, and it's my pleasure to see all of you and to present the importance of health workforce role and capacity in strengthening health resiliency in Asia Pacific and Africa region. Okay, next slide. Next slide. Okay. Health workforce, we can see here that based on WHO data and other resources, in Asia, Pacific, and Africa are facing an increased case of non-communicable disease like cardiovascular diseases, stroke, cancer, kidney, and some communicable disease like tuberculosis and HIV/AIDS remain in highest cause of mortality. And then next slide. Okay, yes. We can see here that health workforce play important role toward a resiliency health system. With a huge number of global population in 2020, around 7.8 billion people, there are only 50.1 million health workers. We can see here that the highest number of health workers are in Western Pacific and Europe region, and in Africa region has limited of 1.9 million health workers. We can see that in slide, ladies and gentlemen. Next slide. In Indonesia, approximately 1 million health workers. That nurses has the most number with 100,000 people. This is because there are 793 nursing study program in Indonesia, which graduate about 50,000 nurses per year. And Polytechnic under Ministry of Health produce about 1.3 thousand nurses every year. I think that's the most or the highest number for health worker in polytechnic. Yeah. Next. In this slide, we can show that data from Indonesia Migrant Worker Protection Agency show that Indonesia has sent nurses working overseas to more than 12 countries. Health Polytechnic of Ministry of Health of Indonesia also doing a reform enhance the education system that internationally to increase the quality of their graduates. Yeah. Next. In this slide, we can see that as the Bu Arianti mentioned that we have 38 polytechnic Kemenkes in Indonesia across 30 provinces. That we can see that 38 health polytechnics spread have organized 507 study program. We can see here that the polytechnics spread from Aceh, Medan, Riau, Padang, Jambi, and so on. And we have 24 cluster of health science in polytechnic, or health polytechnic belongs to Ministry of Health. Next, manager, administrator, and staff supporting academic and non-academic activities with English proficiency, and we also have a complete student support center for problem solving or social activities. Next. Yes, I think that will be a brief presentation from me to emphasize the role and capacity of health workers toward health polytechnic education as a global learning center to produce high quality and globally competitive graduates. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu Os, for enlightening us with the. I just realized that now we do have a lot of nursing international class around Indonesia. There are 23. That's amazing. So we are getting there, Ibu, to prepare our health workers in the futures. And we do have now almost 700 nurses out of more than 1.5 million health workers in more than 12 countries. That's a big number, Ibu, and I hope that polytechnics around Indonesia, especially in Semarang, Solo, and Yogyakarta, can be better to provide that. And our next speaker, we will have Professor Roderick El Salenga from WHO Indonesia. Professor, time is yours.
Salamat pagi, salam sehat, Bapak Ibu. Good morning to all of you. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge Ibu Dirjen, who is our constant partner at WHO, Ibu. Good morning. Ambassador Mohammed Koba, officials from the Foreign Affairs, of course, officials from the Ministry of Health, my co-panelists, Ibu, and also Dr. Iswanto and his team here at Polytechnic Jogja. And also, I understand we are joined by different delegates from outside Indonesia. So I'd like to greet you all a very good morning. And from my country, Philippines, we would say magandang umaga. Good morning to all of you. So my presentation for today is a little bit at the bird's eye view, because I'll be providing some global perspectives. Of course, later on, we will be looking into perspectives that would look at how vulnerable our health systems are, particularly with our experience with COVID-19. And then later on, the last part of my presentation will be about a classic illustration of collaboration in health education, which I think is very important for us to understand how health system and academic system should work together, because at the end of the day, our target outcomes are pretty much the same, especially in the context of universal health coverage. So if we go to the next slide, the first thing I'd like to ask is, what do we want as an international community? What do we want in terms of global community? In terms of health, what are our priorities? I think all of us in the health sector are very familiar. Back in the day, after 2000, we were faced with the challenges of meeting what we call the Millennium Development Goals. And then in 2015, we moved from MDGs to what we call now as the Global Goals or the Sustainable Development Goals. The major difference between the two sets of goals is that the Sustainable Development Goals are focusing not just on health, because we know that health is multifactorial, and health should come together with other aspects and sectors of the society. For example, economy, trade, environment, climate, partnerships. So in the Sustainable Development Goals, we see that there are 17 interconnected global goals. And if we are focusing on health, we can look at SDG number 3. And that would be improvement of health for all, particularly under the banner of what we call leaving no one behind, or universal health coverage. Now, once we were able to embark on our journey together, because this is a global set of goals, in the next slide, I would want to show to you that there were some challenges. Of course, it's not all good, it's not all bad, it's a combination of ups and downs. In the next slide, you would see that before COVID-19 at least, we have seen improvements in terms of our health indicators, particularly when we talk about maternal and child health, if we're talking about life expectancy, and then if we're talking about, for example, child and maternal mortality. So the numbers are quite promising. You would see that there are notable improvements in global health, except that we have seen also some limitations in terms of how we improve over the years. Most especially once we entered the period of SDGs. In 2015, from 2015 rather, just to make this important point, even before we reached COVID-19, we were having some setbacks globally, because we have seen that the progress that we have earned back in the day when we were in the MDGs era, the progress was slower, even before COVID-19. No? Halfway through the SDG era, you would see that many countries are not able to meet their targets, because as all of you are probably familiar, for SDGs, we have targets. No? We have yearly targets that each country should be able to reach at certain points. Unfortunately, this problem is not exclusive to one country or one region. Many countries are facing this pattern for many, many causes, or for many, many reasons. Many of these are related to service delivery factors, some are related to governance, some are related to economy. Now, these remain persistent, particularly for those people we call vulnerable or disadvantaged. These are the individuals or groups of people who have lower levels of access to services. Unfortunately, they are the ones, in fact, who have higher exposure to health risk, and therefore, they are very, very vulnerable. The next slide would show to you now COVID-19. So remember, in the MDG era, we were improving, and then SDG era, there was a stalling. We were quite slow in terms of our progress, and then here comes in 2020, COVID-19. I think everyone would agree that COVID-19 is really life-changing, isn't it? Life-changing in many aspects, not only at the individual level, but at a global level, because everybody was affected. In fact, we would say that The pandemic made us realize that indeed health system barriers, health system gaps do exist. We in public health always look at COVID-19 as if it is a magnifying lens. It was able to make us appreciate in broader view what were the problems we were encountering as individual nations, as a global community. So I just wanted to point out, because the topic for today is about resilience and health security, I want to talk about how COVID-19 impacted us, not only in health sector, but also in social sectors. For example, in terms of education, in terms of economy. So the numbers here you would see, 90% of healthcare systems disrupted. And in fact, even up to now, we are monitoring the impact of COVID-19. Many countries in the latest UHC report 2023, you would note that they are having some problems with what we call as Service Coverage Index, or SCI. Many countries are going towards a negative trend, which is basically a reflection of difficulty in terms of providing essential services. And in our measurement for Service Coverage Index, we are looking at essential services like maternal and child health, non-communicable disease control, communicable disease control, health systems, which is very much impacted by human resources for health. And that's precisely the reason why I am highlighting that, because in fact, HRH is a determinant of Service Coverage Index. Now, in terms of economy, we are looking at 16 trillion US dollars as estimated revenue losses in international sector. So now the debate is over. Which one is more important, health or economy? Now by this time we should know the answer. No one is more important. Both are important because health and economy are indeed related. If you don't protect global health, you don't protect global economy. If you don't protect global economy, you don't protect global health. So they should come together, and they should never be treated as if they are running against each other. Education. 1.6 billion students were out of school, which means to say, if we talk about health sector, health professions education, this would have impacted skills development. Especially for health, we know how important internships are, practicums are. We know how important is face-to-face interaction with patients, for example. I could not imagine a nursing student graduating without interfacing with patients. So if indeed we had 1.6 billion students who were out of school, then definitely it would have impacted on school performance. And overall, because the students will eventually graduate, that would impact the quality and safety of our health services in the country. That's why in WHO, we're very concerned about this. We want to make sure that the quality is maintained, if not improved. Because at the end of the day, whatever we have for our students will be having a negative or positive impact on care of the patients. And then you see poverty, 135 million more people were pushed into poverty. And we remember that the banner of Sustainable Development Goal, particularly SDG number 3, is universal health coverage, leaving no one behind, which means to say everyone who would need medical services, whoever they are, wherever they are, no matter what is their socioeconomic standing, should be able to access health services without financial hardship. Which means to say, if this is the impact in terms of poverty of COVID-19, we are running against that goal of UHC because financial protection definitely couldn't be achieved if people are pushed to poverty. The next slide. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about WHO's framework on health systems. The reason for putting this forward, it's because
Again, this is a golden opportunity for us to appreciate how academic system and health system should be working together. In the health systems framework of WHO, we say that there are 6 important building blocks. And you can see them on on my left-hand side here, but your right probably, or left also, left-hand side. There are 6 building blocks, namely service delivery, information, medical products, vaccines and technologies, financing, leadership and governance, and most importantly, human resources for health. I think there will be no health without health workforce, isn't it? Even if there's money, even if there's vaccine, if there are no nurses, for example, there will be no care, right? That's why I would say no HRH, no health. No health, no universal health coverage. So that is the fundamental reason why we should be investing on human resources for health. Why? It is our moral and social responsibility as part of the global community to invest in the quality of education for our future generations of health workforce. Now, when all of these 6 are working harmoniously and synergistically, we will be able to reach our goals, which namely are improve health, that would be at the level of equity and service delivery. Then you have responsiveness, social and financial risk protection, and improve efficiency. Of course, you couldn't see here health security or resilience, but actually that is innately part of this overall goals and outcomes. Responsiveness simply means whatever is the context, whatever is the need, we should be able to address it. So if there is a health emergency, our health workforce should be able to adjust, adopt, and respond based on the needs of that particular experience. And that's the reason why at WHO we are interested in peacetime and emergency time. Regardless, our health workforce should be at their top shape because the demands for health will be varying depending on the context. Now, what do we do when we invest in human resources for health? We are basically doing what we call health system strengthening, or HSS. Health system strengthening is basically improving the building blocks so that we will be able to push further, so we will be able to achieve the overall goals and outcomes. Please remember that in health system strengthening, there are 4 societal values we are aiming to reach. 1 is access, number 2 is coverage, number 3 is quality, and number 4 is safety. At the end of the day, human resources for health, we are accountable, isn't it? If our patient comes to our clinics or to our hospitals, when they go out of our facility, if they become good, that's our accountability. If they become better, that's our accountability. If they suffer more because of our service, that is our accountability, right? For good or for better outcomes or for worse outcomes, we are responsible. So if we go to the next slide, in WHO, just to mention this before I go to the example that I mentioned related to collaboration, we have what we call the General Program of Work. At the international level, we are guided by what we call triple billion targets. And the reason why I'm putting this forward to all of you, it's because health resilience, security is part of our agenda. So in our General Program of Work, we are working towards 1 billion more people benefiting from universal health coverage, 1 billion more people protected from health emergencies, and 1 billion more people enjoying better health and well-being. Before I go to the next slide, I just wanted to mention that when we talk about health security and resilience, oftentimes we think about disasters and emergencies. Actually, the perspective should be shifted. health emergencies are not only the things that we need to look at, because there are other emergencies that are not as, how to say, as solidly manifesting in terms of, like, for example, earthquake, tsunami, or, flooding. But there are many public health problems that are emerging as emergencies. I'll use this opportunity to advocate on antimicrobial resistance. Antimicrobial resistance is a public health emergency. What is that, and why is that? Well, it's because once our antimicrobials or antibiotics, for example, are no longer effective because we are misusing them, irrational prescribing, irrational dispensing, irrational use by patients. And remember, all these three can be corrected through the efforts of our human resources for health. There will come a time that when we get sick because of an infection, we won't be treated because the options are no longer effective. And people will die one after the other. If that's the case, isn't that called an emergency? It is. NCD is another public health emergency. It's not as dramatic as a tsunami. It's not as dramatic as flooding or earthquake or wars, for example, but it is happening already. NCD is an emergency. Hypertension and cardiovascular diseases are emergencies. Now, conscious of the time, I wanted to jump quickly to this slide, which is basically looking at HLMA, Health Labor Market Analysis. If we go to the previous slide, you would see that the health polytechnic is part of the labor market. The health polytechnic, or in this case, institutions that are honing and developing and supporting our workforce, they're part of the education sector. And that is where we are very much concentrated in terms of production, all right? And then once we're able to produce them, we should be able to absorb them and then keep them in the system for as long as possible. So that's what you have there for distribution, retention, and upskilling. The reason why I'm pointing this out, it's because in the case of Indonesia, the Health Polytechnic is a very critical source of HRH in the country, and I'm sure that our partners outside Indonesia would also look at their own educational systems or their institutions as contributors to the labor market. And so it means to say if there's investment on Poltekkes, at least in the example of Indonesia, it is a direct investment to health as well. And so we're very happy that this discussion is happening because we know that all resources are needed. We don't live in a world where there are endless monies and resources, so collaboration, partnership, and synergy are very important. Next slide, please. So I wanted to show this to you for some guidance and consideration. There is a global strategic direction document produced by WHO, particularly for nursing and midwifery. And we are emphasizing on the importance of pre-service education before you graduate. Good quality of pre-service education will build good health workforce. I think that is non-debatable. Now, I think what we need to look at, particularly at leadership level, are the 4 policy focus areas for education. Policy priority number 1 is aligning the levels of nursing and midwifery education with optimized roles within the health and academic system. Okay, this is not applicable just for nursing and midwifery, it's also applicable for other health professions. Number 2, we optimize domestic production of our workforce so that we will be able to address our national need. And then later on, once we have surplus, once we have adequate number, we are able to contribute to the global workforce as well. Because in some parts of the world, there is definitely a necessity. Policy priority 3 is designing education programs to be competency-based, apply effective learning design, meet quality standards, and align with population health needs, which were definitely and well articulated in the previous discussions shared to us by Ibu Oos. And then number 4, priority that the faculty are properly trained. No? I spent many years in the academic setting, and that has been also my personal advocacy to make sure that we get the best faculty, we get the best teachers, because the teachers will be a great determinant of a student's success. And so the investment should also be directed towards our faculty members. The next slide, which is going to wrap up my presentation, just to quickly look at this example. Guided by this document, Working for Health and Growth, guided by the World Health Assembly Resolution 70.6, no? We are in the business of answering this question. How investment in education capacity and employment of health workers can meet population health needs and avert the projected 18 million health workforce shortfall. There is this projected 18 million health workforce shortfall globally. Can you imagine if we are at the receiving end of care and your geographical area happens to be a place where there are no doctors and no nurses, what would be the consequence of that? So in the next slide, just quickly, I wanted to show our support for the MOH Health Polytechnic. Ibu Dirjen was able to mention this, and we're very proud collaborator for this. And in fact, we have put this as part of our priority for Biennium Work Plan 2024-2025. The outcome is basically strengthening the health workforce, pre-service training by strengthening the capacity of our lecturers at Polteches. No? The output is to strengthen them on teaching and developing nursing textbooks. There are many other interventions that could be into this work, but this is just an example. And then we have some activities you could see there. There's a lecturer's camp. There's a book writing camp. I understand our directors later on will be able to mention this in detail. But let's go to the next slide, please. So just to show to you some of our outputs, these are collaborative outputs. And again, congratulations to the Ministry of Health and to the Polteches who were actively involved in this work. Very, very excellent job, really. We are very encouraged by the commitment and the quality of outputs. No? So just to give you some idea for pilot lectures, the topics are there. You can see them. I won't be reading them. But for outputs specifically, we had 20 pilot lectures at 4 Polteches. And then we have done some assessment, and I understand that the rating of assessment is highly satisfactory. Next slide, please. Some photos, just to share with you. This is micro-teaching from a participant. And then you could see our partners who are in full commitment doing a lot of work to put together the materials. Again, congratulations to our participating Polteches. Next slide, please. I wanted to just present to you what are the covered modules. In the next slide, please, you would see the topics that are covered. These are actually produced already in English. And this is a proud work of our colleagues. Thanks for the commitment. So you could see the span of covered topics. And this is just the beginning, really. That's why we're very happy that partners are onboarded because the investments in human resources for health, again, is direct investment for the people of the country. Next slide, please. Book writing process. There's this intensive coaching process. I won't be giving the details of this because I understand our colleagues in the latter session will be presenting more on this. This is just an appetizer for all of you. Next slide, please. So let me end by stating this testimonial from our colleague from Polteches Medan, Ibu Marlisa. she said, the English and Nursing Book Camp at Polytechnic Medan has significantly enhanced my teaching skills for international classes. Professional module instructors provided valuable insights, refining our methods for a more engaging classroom approach. The camp of nursing books was motivating, boosting my confidence and inspiring me to share this knowledge with students. The camp has been transformative, providing tools for excellence in international settings and fostering continuous improvement in teaching nursing students in English. I think we can end with this note because I think it's not just good to be technically adept, but in our work it's important that we are also motivated and inspired.
Education and employment opportunities are very important.
Supporting the achievement of sustainability development goals, and then how to encourage our independency in providing in funding our operations, so we do not have to depend on our state budget anymore. And third, how to ensure that our practice or our operation follow the good governance, the transparent, efficient, effective, comfortable, and sustainable. Our existence is regulated by two main regulation. First is government regulation number 57 2019, and then is our ministerial regulation number 143 year 2019. We have two main duties, or our two main goals. First, to conduct our operation, the government trusted us the endowment fund, which is we are from the state budget. We are sorry. We are with this endowment fund. We invest in financial instrument that have a low risk and but with moderate profit that can sustain our operation. With this profit, we find our other main duties, extending the grant. So we are now fully independent from our state budget. And the next year, we hope that we can, besides extending the grant, we hope that we can also extend the loan. So we hope that our idea to become an international development partner such as JICA, COICAL can be implemented. Okay, next slide. This is what this slide shows that what we do to perform our mission. As you know, in the previous slide, we said that one of our mission is supporting the SDGs. We focus our grant when we send the grant to support the SDG project. One of this project is health project. In health project, we try to focus how we create the healthy and purpose life. This how to achieve this, we divide into two main area. First, improve basic health service through providing the equipment, like vaccine, pentavalent for the children, medical equipment for the hospital, establishing a good infrastructure and facility for the healthcare. And then one of the most substantial of the most essential, perhaps that the previous speakers mentioned, is how to provide the availability of health workers, not just the quantity but the quality. That's why we developed an Indonesian Health Scholarship for the country, for the target country to study in Indonesia, especially in the best health polytechnic, to study nursery. So after they can complete the study, they can support us how to achieve this SDGs target. Okay, I will go to next slide. This slide actually show us about when we extending the grant, we follow we call it a grant policy. Grant policy dictates us about what is the country, what is the priority countries, the priority region. In this slide, you can see we mainly focus on Southeast Asia, Pacific region, South and Central Asia, then Africa, Sub-Sahara, then Latin America and Middle East. You also see that there is at like Sub-Sahara, there is no countries. It's meant that all sub-Saharan countries is our priorities countries. And below the table below the country list, you see what we want to achieve. For example, like Sahara countries, Sahara region, what we want to achieve is how to strengthen the image of government of Indonesia in Africa, sub-Sahara, then how to open opportunities and encourage trade investment from Indonesia and from from Indonesia to invest and in African country. And then in Southeast Asia, you can also see that what we want to do is to implement ASEAN joint commitment. Okay, in this slide, you can see what we have done from 2020 to 2020, about 2020 to 2022. Actually, when we start our operation as the in the beginning, the COVID strike. So our first operation is how to support our neighbor countries, our friend countries, to combat to fight the COVID. In 2020, we extended our grant to Timor Leste, to Papua New Guinea, and to Fiji to support them, to help them so they can fight the pandemic of COVID-19. And we also have in 2021 and 2022 we also have our friend from Afghanistan and Palestine in search of in extending the grant for humanitarian and for to mitigate mitigate how to mitigate the food crisis that happened in Afghanistan. And humanitarian an incident in Palestine. In this slide, you can see that year by year, we our grant distribution is increased rapidly, and what we want and we are eager to distribute more grant in order to achieve what has been directed by our Strand Committee and our mission to support the SDGs target. You can see that now at the 2023, we are now our grant allocation is about 300 billion rupiah. It's increased, I think, 300 times from our operation in 2022. In this chart, I'm sorry, in this slide, you can see that our main priority actually is health sector. We give a big allocation for the health sector. For example, we support our friend Nigerian for vaccination. We extending the grant for providing them a pentavalent vaccine. Then also we also have a cooperation with Global Fund to support them in fighting HIV, tuberculosis, and malaria. Then also as our commitment to support our friend that our friend in Somalia, we are now have a cooperation with Islamic Development Bank to provide the telemedicine facilities, including the renovation of ICU in hospital in Bososa province in Somalia. And other priority is education and training, then also agriculture. That actually our three main priority in our operation. For 2024, we have planned some about several projects in health sector. First, that now we are that we hope this is become can become our flagship is the Indonesian Ed Scholarship. This Indonesian Ed this scholarship is focus how to 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 achieve our target in SDGs. One of the target is about how to increase the capability of health worker. We give for scholarship for targeted countries such as Afghanistan, Fiji, Cambodia, Kenya, Laos, Nigeria, and Papua New Guinea to pursue a bachelor degree in nursery in our elite health polytechnic in Semarang, Surakarta, and Jogja. And we hope it can be implemented in 2024. Then the other thing is we now preparing in how we support our friend in Zimbabwe for combat for helping them to assist them in combating in fighting some several health issues such as AIDS, cancer cervix, tuberculosis, and traffic accident treatment. We give we are now planning to provide them like service kit, medicine for HIV, AIDS, and tuberculosis, and also our biometric products for bone surgery. Then also we are continuously we are still supporting have a collaboration with our partner Global Fund to help them in fighting in our eradication in fighting the HIV/AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria. It will be a multi-year project, and I believe it's until 2025, and it's also give us uh, give also is also is one of our contribution as to improve our role in international community. Then last but not the least, is now we are from 2020 starting 2023 we are supporting our friend in Papua New Guinea how to give good healthcare facility. Now we are now in conduct and in processing of construction and renovation of ICU and mortuary room. This is one of the essential facility that now are urgent urgent to for the people for Moresby. So we help now help them how to renovate and help them to give facility in ICU and mortuary room. Uh, I think this is finally. I think this is the end of my presentation. I hope what I present today can give you a short information what Indonesian had done regarding that health security. Apologize if this presentation is not related with the presentation team, and hopefully this is will be our attention.
Thank you, Mr. Jovan. A round of applause for Mr. Jovan Rizaldi. Thank you very much for the presentations. I noticed that Indonesian aid exists because of our willingness as Indonesia to achieve SDGs, including a healthy and prosperous life. Of course, this is important, Professor Eric and Ibu Awas, because Indonesian Aid is handling the funds management and fund distributions, and we noticed that there will be grant making in 2024 for foreign students in 7 countries to study at the Polytechnics Yogyakarta, Semarang, and Solo. I believe there would be a lot of questions, and we still have 24 minutes before the break, so we will have a question and answers. here we do have Ibu Jenny from Papua New Guinea Embassy. Welcome, Ibu. And virtually, we also have several colleagues from foreign embassies. We do have Fiji, Laos PDR, Cambodia, Kenya, and Nigeria. We also have our Indonesian embassies overseas join us through Zoom online from Kabul, Vientiane, Phnom Penh, Nairobi, Abuja, Port Moresby, Suva, and Vanimo. So now let's open question and answer. Of course, we prioritize participants who are in person here. Perhaps I would like to see if some students from Poltekkes Yogyakarta would like to ask questions. All right, so I think we can go 2 from here and 2 from this group. Yes, please.
Thank you. Let me introduce myself. My name is Stregthening. I'm an international class student in the nursing study program. My question is, how can the health workers in the Asian Pacific and African region be support in their professional development, and what opportunity exist for international collaboration and mobility? Thank you.
Thank you. Could you please repeat your question one more time so our speakers can get some with better understanding?
Okay. How can the health workforce in the Asia Pacific and African region be support in their professional development, and what opportunity exist for international collaboration and mobility? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Another questions from the group?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Sitindra Aisyah. I'm from undergraduate applied nursing first semester, and I was amazed by the presentations of Ibu Fatmawati. So I feel kind of regretted that I didn't enter the international class, as they experience more interesting study program in international class, such as visiting foreign hospital, and it seemed that they have a huge opportunities to work abroad as they should. I wonder if regular nursing student could also have the same chances as the international ones to be qualified to work in other countries as well, because I also have a strong interest in working overseas too. So my question is, what is Ibu Fatmawati suggest strategies, or what should we do as a regular nursing students to be as competent and as the international ones for working abroad and could contribute in health transformations? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Speakers, for that, we take another 2 questions so we can go in one round. Yes, from this group, please. Yeah. The microphone.
Good morning. My name is Pratiwi Harnisa, and I'm from Anesthesiology Study Program. And I want to ask, especially to Professor Salenga, you were mentioned about the essential services provided. Now is going into a negative portion, and I want to ask, how is the essential service provided now is different than before the pandemic? As we know that before the pandemic, we are also thriving, and somehow we are trying to increase the essential services, but how is it different than before the pandemic? Thank you.
Thank you very much for the questions directly to Professor Eric. One more questions from this group? Okay, right. Behind you, please, Mbak Anastasia.
Thank you to Mrs. and Mr. Introduction, name is Grace Kamanurung. I'm from STR Dental Health. I want the question. In this period of health workers in need of Indonesia, of course, it's our responsibility as of health workforce in the future. Seeing this, what we can apply as health workers that can cover the shortcomings in health workers, and how to government's collaborative description and plan to handle in to reach expected goals. Thank you.
Thank you, but could you please repeat one more time just to make sure that we catch the understanding, the same understanding. Can you repeat one more time?
Okay, thank
you.
Okay, see this period of health workers is needed of Indonesia. Of course, it's our responsibility as health workforce in the future. Seeing this, what we can apply as health workers that can cover the shortcomings and health workers, and how the government's collaborative government to collaborative description and plan to handle to reach expected goals. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So you're asking about the importance of collaborations to address the shortcomings. So now I would like to invite all the three speakers, perhaps starting from Ibu Oos, followed by Professor Eric and Mr. Jovan. I notice here we have 4 questions. The first one is about health workers in this region, Asia Pacific and Africa. How these health workers can be supported in development and mobility. And the second question is directed to Ibu Oos particularly, but of course other speakers can add some answers. That how regular students, not international students, can also have an opportunity as international class students to work overseas. What should we do as a country, as a government? And the third question to Professor Eric, particularly about the essential health system provided now and before the pandemic. There will be interesting questions, Professor, because that you mentioned also that even before pandemic we have setbacks in our health systems. And the last questions about the health workers, how to address the shortcomings through our collaborations. Perhaps Mr. Jovan could add some points in these questions. Ibu Oos, you may have the floor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think for the 2 questions, I forget the name. It's almost the same, yeah. The question, I think, what's the strategy the regular student to working abroad? Yeah, I think you can prepare. First, is the priority is about the language. Like English language, you have to learn more, and another language like Germany or Japan. I think it's depend on the country what to go abroad. And the second maybe the culture, yeah, because Indonesian culture is different with other culture. So you have to prepare better. So because in Germany, in Netherlands, or in Japan, there are many Indonesian nursing there, and some of them they still lonely or maybe about the culture. I think that the 2 things, the more important than the language and the culture maybe. Yes. For the collaboration, we have the collaboration with some countries with G2G, like in Japan and Germany, and then G2P and P2P. So you can work overseas or working abroad about some scheme. Yeah. And another scheme, we have internship. So you can go with internship scheme too. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much for those questions. I'm happy that the questions are coming from students, so that means there's really interest. This is a good indication of your professional foresight and commitment to your practice in the future. So let me just first address the question related to what's the difference with our essential health services before and after COVID-19. Well, to answer that question, I think we have to reflect on the question, what has changed in our health landscape after COVID-19? And I think some insights to answer that question would be around understanding that actually health starts not in health facilities, right? It starts in homes and communities. And that's the reason why we are really emphasizing on investing in primary health care. Bring the services close as possible to those who need it. Because in a traditional service delivery model, our people who would need help will go to the facility, hoping that the facility is open and is providing services. And if the services are indeed available, they are functioning and of quality, right? So the model is now being changed. For most countries, they're really looking at investing in community-based systems on health. That's why community health nursing is an important aspect as well. Your primary health care nursing, for the nursing students, that's an important course in itself. The competencies that you would acquire there is important. That's just one. The second is, what we've noticed after COVID-19 is there is a sudden leapfrogging in terms of health consciousness of people. People ask questions now on health. No? After being subjected to many problems with COVID-19, they always ask many questions. Sometimes they ask the good questions, sometimes they don't. But the important thing is there is this consciousness that they are wanting to take charge of their health. So what does that mean in terms of us health workers? We are now being given the opportunity to work on improving health literacy of our clients and patients. So that means to say health education and health promotion is an important component of our work. Because we understand now that it's not going to be effective if we will just be focusing on traditional patient-health professional relationship where the person will just get probably the prescription pad or the medicine and then it ends there. What we're seeing is that services should be now founded by a very good and very responsive professional therapeutic relationship. So what is required for us or from us? Communication and interpersonal skills. What I'm trying to do now is trying to merge the two questions, right? What has changed and what is required for us in order to address the shortfalls. So health literacy, communication, right? And then we are also looking at some models wherein we appreciate that the work is not exclusive to one type of health workforce. What am I trying to emphasize? We are seeing the model of interprofessional collaboration. We are seeing now that more and more doctors, nurses, midwives, pharmacists should be working together on a teams-based approach. More and more, we will see less and less of one-man team or one-woman team, because we recognize that there are certain expertise and skills that are known by a specific health professional. For example, the nurses have their own nursing competencies. The medical doctor will have their own. The pharmacist will have their own. So imagine if you put them all together in a team-based approach, what magic can that do to the patient, right? So I think those are just some reflections. This is not exhaustive, but the landscape has changed in terms of how our patients perceive health, in terms of the models of care. And don't forget, there is this important aspect of artificial intelligence also
coming in and the use of digital technology in health, please bear in mind and don't worry about AI or technology. You shouldn't be intimidated by it because some of us may think, oh, artificial intelligence may one time make our work irrelevant, right? Because you might think you might be replaced by artificial intelligence. Are you not worried about that? I think some of you are. The answer is you shouldn't be worried. Why? Because, number one, artificial intelligence and technology are just tools. The one managing them is the human. Therefore, the human should be superior to the technology. And the technology is just an apparatus or an appliance to deliver the services better. And secondly, there are many skills that are not going to be learned by artificial intelligence. Example, empathy, right? Nurses would know this very well. This is core of your profession, empathy towards your patients. Empathy and the patient-centeredness mindset are things that couldn't be copied in AI. So this is just a reflection of why more and more the health professionals should upskill and upgrade in terms of the changing and evolving landscape of health. No? And then the other thing that I wanted to address, there's a question in terms of what can be done in order for us to address the shortfalls. That can be answered in different levels. What is a reference point? Individual, organizational, institutional, national, international. So maybe for the student, let's start as an individual. What can you do to address the shortfalls? Number one, as a student, study well, right? Study well. What does that mean? When you are in training, do your best to absorb all the skills so that wherever you are, whether you are in Indonesia, in Japan, Germany, or anywhere, you will be able to demonstrate what it takes to be an excellent world-class healthcare professional. Because if every healthcare professional is an excellent healthcare professional, I don't think most of these problems will exist. Correct? Because you will be able to display the expertise and competencies. That's why the number one suggestion for students at this level, because you are still studying, do your best to become the best version of yourself. So that when you become part of the workforce, you don't contribute to the problem. You address the problem. Oftentimes you ask the question, oh, there's so many problems, no? What will they do? The question should be different. What should I do to help solve some problems? And that's by doing some good work for yourself. Second, at a global, at institutional and national level, there are many things that are being done. For example, in the context of Indonesia, the Ministry of Health is focusing on standards development for quality, for accreditation, no, for curricular improvement, no, for internationalization. All of these are factors or initiatives that are able to address gaps. The end result of those is basically going back to the healthcare worker and to the patients that you will serve. Because all of this will result to good education because of good curriculum, good methodology, good teaching, and good learning. And then opportunities where you will be able to practice those. And then the other thing I want to emphasize before I pass back to Paraka is our ability to open up for collaboration. Collaboration here, I mean interprofessional collaboration. You know, from where I come from, I also battled with, turfing. No? Turfing means territoriality. This is my area. This is my area. You shouldn't be intervening. And in my practice as a pharmacist, my expertise supposedly is on medication management. I have knowledge about medicines. And I have the training and the capacity to suggest what would be the best combination of therapy for the patients because I know drug-drug interactions. I know bioequivalence, I know therapeutics, pharmacodynamics, etc., etc. But then when I open my mouth and start to suggest, the tendency is for people to shut me down because they would say, I'm just a pharmacist. Is that a correct notion? Of course not.
Gone are the days that we should be territorial. We should open up because at the end of the day, every one of us is working for the same cause. What is our cause? Patient. Patient-centeredness, isn't it? The only reason why healthcare professionals exist is because we have patients. If we don't have patients, we are not to exist. Right? So, at the end of the day, when we open up and we start communicating and we start respecting professional contribution, the outcomes will be better for the patients. I think I should stop there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Eric. Now I'd like to invite Mr. Yovan Rizali to add some points to address the questions. Please, Pak Yovan. Yes, Pak Yovan, you may speak if you have certain points to add.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I think I want to add up on what we help our friends countries in improving the quality of the health workers, because our mandate is about to support the other countries. So we focus on assisting them in how to help them to achieve a sustainable to achieve SDGs goal. In health worker, we do we take two approach. First, we give them training that conducted by perhaps Ministry of Health or other institution that related to health. Previously, we assess our friend countries, Afghanistan. We follow collaboration. We have a collaboration with BKKBN, National Family Planning Agency, that give best practice of Indonesian family planning. That's so they perhaps they can implement it in Afghanistan. Then also now we are now preparing, but I said in my previous presentation that we are now preparing a project for Zimbabwe. We are design of orthopedic training for the doctor there to take training in orthopedic in Indonesia. Then the other approach is that now we are doing now is design scholarship. So the other countries can learn about health in Indonesia. In Poltekkes we provide for nursery degrees, and other university like Erlangga University we provide a scholarship for to take a pharmacist degree, undergrad pharmacist degree. And the other thing is, besides the training and the scholarship, we also support our friends country for in providing a good health facility care, so they can support their people to get a better health care. Perhaps that I can say, Mr. Moderator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yovan Rizaldi. We are coming to the end of the first sessions. So, of course, there are a lot of things that I cannot conclude just in very few sentences, but let me try. That the first one is, of course, the importance of the health workers. We are here because of the health workers, and national health systems, regional health systems can be addressed and can be improved because of the health workers. And of course, as mentioned by Professor Eric, the importance of higher education. Ibu Oos also mentions, also touched upon that issues, that we are here with the students of regular and international class students to also support our regional health corporations, our health systems, our resilience and security as well. And of course, the most important thing is the cooperation, the collaborations. That's why we are here. Foreign Ministry and WHO, I believe, also always boost the importance of synergy between Ministry of Health, Poltekkes, Health Polytechnics, as well as Indonesian Aid to support, and that's why we look forward to the programs in 2024 to have more foreign students to study at health polytechnics in Indonesia. Before closing the first sessions and returning to the Master of Ceremony, I would like to inform you that there will be a coffee break, and for those who are join us virtually to stay, because we will be taking a break for only 10 minutes, and we will continue to second sessions. So, ladies and gentlemen, please again give a round of applause to our speakers. Thank you very much. And I'd like to give you back to our Master of Ceremony. Thank you very much.
Before we take a break, to all of the participants, maybe we can take a documentation session on the front, maybe? Yeah, on the front. To all of speakers and VIP guests, please come on the stage. For all the students, maybe you can come on the stage too. For the VIP guests and all of the speakers, you may come on the stage. And for all the students, you may rise and come on the stage.